Women's Oncology Research and Dialogue, the easiest way to describe who we are is just to describe our name, because our name is rather long. And we really start out by being about women's oncology. Hey, it actually worked, good. And I just put a screenshot of it, and that's really, we focus on gynecologic cancers, and we're really all cancers, and we're based right here in Indianapolis, and we're founded 5 years ago. And we really focus on cervical cancers, uterine cancers, ovarian cancers, vulvar cancers, vaginal cancers. And if you go to our website, you'll see we have information on it all. But as we focus on all those, we try to do it multiple ways. And one is by trying to take our research and applying it to everything we do. And so we really want to take scientific method. I'm not a scientist. My background is in actually religious studies and communications. But we want to catalyze scientific and clinical research and really take that research and that scientific method and also then apply that to education. And so when it comes to, understanding who we really are, we went through a name change a few years ago, about a year and a half ago, I guess it was. And we used to be, when we first started, we were Women's Oncology Research and Development. And we are started by gynecologic oncologists, which we're here in Indianapolis, or now in Ohio. And that name kind of rolled off the tongue, but didn't really communicate what we wanted to do. And what we really want to do is we want to take the research component, and we want that research component both healthcare communications research, scientific research, we've done clinical trials, all that, to really create dialogue and conversation. And I like to describe it as this: we want to be able to help all of you to know more, women to know more about their bodies, know more about the whole healthcare continuum, to make sure they have the best knowledge and to be empowered in the best ways they possibly can, so they can ultimately do more, so that they can make the best decisions. And in this case, in cervical cancer, that they're getting their Pap test, that they're getting the HPV vaccine if they are under indication, and that they are making sure that they understand what the annual exam should look like for them, so that they're empowered to have the best care they can possibly have. And we believe that's done by creating pieces and information that does dialogue. So how we kind of have gone about this, we were founded a few years ago, and we were starting to try to figure out what we were going to be involved with. And so when we did that, we were blessed to be connected to some people in Washington, D.C. who connected us to some Department of Defense funds. And so one of our first research projects, and we were blessed to do, was be part of a whole, what's called the Gynecologic Cancer Health Care Protection Program, because everything has to have really long names if you're working with the government. And so we created this program. And basically what we were trying to do was do a knowledge assessment, what do women know now, confirm that knowledge, and then start creating instruments that'll change behavior in their lifestyle to lessen their risk of cancer, so prevention, to make their early detection more possible, to get them in the treatments of the whole continuum and make sure they're getting the best and most up-to-date treatment. And then ultimately, we're looking for a cure. And so we said those are the things we wanted to do. And so as we did that, a few months ago, as we were working through all of our projects, we came across Kirk. And this literally, I think it was August, Kirk, was it? Okay. Somebody had sent me a link to Kirk's book, said you ought to read this. And I honestly don't remember who it was, and I deleted the email. So whoever did that, thank you. And I read through this book, and I live in north of Indy. And I saw Kirk's picture there, looked up his website, looked for an address, and saw that he was in Noblesville, and said, what in the world am I not meeting with this guy for? We've been, at this point, working on a cervical cancer project for over a year, and I said, we need to do it. So I sent out an email, and I don't know about a lot of you, we work with people quickly, and I sent an email, and I think he sent it back within 6 hours, which is a record for me. A lot of times these organizations, I don't know, they bounce it around. Kirk said, let's meet. And I think probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 days we were meeting at a coffee shop up in Noblesville. And since then, we're very proud to be able to partner and use some of the resources that we've been able to create over the last few months to be able to use them in cervical cancer-free Indiana. And so Kirk asked me just to share a few of those resources. I'm going to skip a few slides because I don't want to take too much time. I'm going to say one of those resources, and if you would like them, and I would be glad to send them to you in a PDF. Some of our stuff is going to be in peer-reviewed journals, and out of respect for the scientists we work with, We're not presenting that material yet because it's you're just waiting for those to get in the peer-reviewed journal. But I sanitized about 100 pages of that research that's not being presented, and we want to put that in format. So if you're interested in some of the research we've done that builds some of these resources I'm going to show you, I would love to give those to you. But one of the things we did is we started analyzing where do people get their health information. I'm not going to do it. And then we said, what messages are most effective at getting women to take their annual exams and the HPV vaccination? And so as we started looking at that, we said we want to build resources that any organization or individual could use that's built on messages that we have found to be effective in the real world, and then we want to continue to be able to test them, and we want to create a complete campaign that we hope people will use as much as possible. So a complete campaign simply looks like this. We had created messages that are based on threat, and that means what are messages that promote fear? So cervical cancer is a fear message, genital warts is a fear message, anal cancer is a fear message, versus efficacy, meaning this vaccine, these pap tests will lead to a better life. And so we started creating messages, and we really focused in, and these that I'm going to show you today were really tested on 18 to 24-year-olds and really are caught in print, web, social media, radio, and TV. And I'm just going to show you a few of them. If you go to our website, you can see all the resources. And if you want to use them on the web, you can use them any way you want to. They're on YouTube and all that. But we wanted to create a whole campaign. We simply called it the Word on HPV campaign. And so I wanted to walk you through just a few of those messages so I could model you through them. Obviously, these are toward 18 to 24-year-old women. So these are up in my office, not really. But I work in a different world. My wife always jokes of a few years ago, I was working in church work, and now I'm an executive director of a gynecologic cancer organization. What happened? This is what it says. It says, the guy you're seeing has an exciting future. He also has HPV. All these posters are available online. You can see them. And we actually brought a few of them. I'll tell you two of them here that you can take some with you today. This one is not up in my, not up in my house. Is he really worth getting cervical cancer? These are, I wanted to show that one again. This one we have with us today. I know it wasn't the only one he had been with. He has HPV, only he didn't know it. Now I have the only known cause of cervical cancer. It's a threat message that we tested. There's another one. I'd only known the guy from class. I know and hooked up but only once. I got HPV, the only known cause of cervical cancer. All these are, and one of the things I want to mention is every one of our resources are meant to not be used in a silo or a vacuum. They're meant to be used as a whole, or as our goal. They're tested if you're using Twitter, Facebook, website, video, and our goal is to be able to infiltrate a whole system so that they catch that and do it in a closed circuit, especially in the 18 to 26-year-old range, so that they catch it for a period of time. A couple more messages. I'm not showing them all. You'll spend more than 3 hours a week putting on makeup, but you won't get 3 vaccine shots to prevent cervical cancer. You'll post on our more Facebook time. You'll post on your friend's wall at least 3 times a day. And this guy has HPV. How can you tell? These are just a few of our resources. We also created all these. These are in poster format. The ones we brought today are actually larger. They're 22 by 28 inches, I think. But they've all been created to be able to be used by multiple ways and printing in different ways. This is another poster. And then this is a rack card. Please take those. I brought 1,000 of them today, and I'd be glad not to leave with them. That says HPV, get in the know, has facts on the back. Says up to 80% of women will become infected with HPV in their lifetime. HPV is nearly impossible to detect in men. HPV is the only known cause of cervical cancer. It's good to know, and has more information there. All these things, we then have a website that's connected to all this. But it all led to also, we created a 4-minute, fully original animation, original score, everything on HPV that we've been able to partner with Kirk and Cervical Cancer for Indiana and the Kristen Eve Foundation to get these actually used on broadcast mediums. And I'm going to show you one of the first 30-second PSAs from it.
Girl, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just
I just came from the doctor.
Is everything okay?
It's not that. It's embarrassing.
Come on, it's us.
I have HPV.
Wait, what's HPV?
It stands for the human papillomavirus.
HPV is the leading cause of cervical cancer.
Is there anything they can do?
HPV can have deadly consequences, but there is a simple vaccination. Find out more at wordonhpv.org.
That's just a 30-second PSA. We have 15 seconds, and then there's a full 4-minute animation that runs the whole gamut of understanding. We also do production of live video, and we call them Let's Talk series. And the Let's Talk, we have 2 different videos that we've created. One's called Words of Wisdom, which are professionals, physicians, scientists that are speaking about the different types of cancers and HPV. We have several. In fact, we were just recording several of the top HPV experts this last week. And we put those into 2-minute excerpts to try to help educate. And for those who that's the most effective at, we're using that as a resource. But then we also want to tell patients tell their stories. And this is the Let's Talk series. We're not going to listen to Ellen, because Ellen's actually an ovarian cancer survivor. But we thought we'd listen to Heather.
When I first was diagnosed with the cancer, it was very surprising. I had heard of cervical cancer before, but I didn't really know what it was. Luckily now there's vaccines that target cervical cancer. I know as a mother of a daughter, she will be getting the vaccine as soon as she can. The words that play into my mind are if I can get it, anybody can get it. So I'm going to do everything I can as a mother to protect my daughter.
So all these resources, we want to be used as much as possible. So if you are willing to use them as is, with our logoing, you can take them and use them any way you want to. They're available on the internet, you can post them, you can do anything there. And if you want to use them, what we've done, this was originally this piece was actually produced with Kirk, but the other pieces, you'll see it says Cervical Cancer Free Indiana. We can add in your logos and things like that. If you're interested in doing things like that, come talk to us. But we're really wanting to make sure that we're creating resources that are tested, and what we're trying to do in these resources, we want to use them in ways that we can then collect information back, because we want to evaluate their success. We want to know, did they visit the website? And then ultimately, long term, we want to continue monitoring, do they actually motivate women to get the vaccine, to get the Pap test, whatever the goal of each campaign was to do. And these are just pieces of the campaigns. And so ways you can connect with us, because I don't want to take too much more time, is you can visit our website. Love to do that. Come talk to us today. We have a little table out there. Chad's with me today. He's our director of media production. You see him with his camera back there. Come talk to us. Sign up for our newsletter. Use our print material. Use our PSAs in your local community. Talk to us about how we can work together. We want to figure out how we can best communicate messages. We're really interested in the next step of taking not only patient and survivor stories that help educate, but we're also really interested in trying to figure out patient navigation. We really want to create the best media and useful resources for the whole continuum of cancer care, from prevention all the way to cure, and that's what we want to do, and we want to be part of a team. That's why we're very proud to be part of Cervical Cancer Free Indiana, Cervical Cancer Free America, and anyone else that we can partner with. So we're very thankful to be part of that. These are resources you can use, and thanks for taking the time.